It's time now for the Sports Objective Podcast. No talking heads, just guys who love sports. Here's Dave Richmond.
Welcome into the Sports Objective Podcast. Our wrap-up show is the Pirates got a victory. Nice to see 48-9 yesterday. Last night, in fact, they took care of the running Bulldogs of Gardner-Webb. Ladies and gentlemen, they were actually making history as well, the most that we've ever had on a podcast. We'll see if we can get this done. First, Amanda needs no introduction. Kyle from LaGrange Barber. What's up, man?
What's going on, David? How are you? Good to get a W.
It is good. How about you, Bubba Rosenbaum and China Grove?
I'm doing well, and this definitely is the most we've ever had on a Pirate Football Playback, and it's right there with a couple of those 83 roundtables where we had 6.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if it's a rainy night in Georgia. Terry Gallaher, is it raining there?
No, but it's hot. It hit 100 degrees here today.
Good God. When are you moving to North Carolina so you can be hot here with us?
I'm packing and cleaning and moving. It's not long far. It's not far away. All right, we're looking forward to it where we have you closer by. But at least we have the podcast where we can have you on until you get here. And obviously new to the podcast, a junior, he got to see a Pirate victory at home. I know just the fact that the Pirates won, I know he's tickled to death. Brendan Shapiro, how you doing, man?
Pretty good. Glad to see another Pirate win. Well, another,
Yeah, we've got it's really cool. We've got 3 generations of Pirates here, so pretty cool there, and we'll get some different takes on things. But certainly love the score, 48-9. I guess we could go around the round table, and I'll get my thoughts at the end. Kyle, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. No. I thought defense played a hell of a game. I thought they played well against NC State. I thought it was just big talent difference. And last night there was also a big talent difference just in our favor. But I thought the guys were in position to make plays, and they made plays. Good to see us get a couple of turnovers. I can tell you the last time we had 2 interceptions in the game, and then we ran them back. We didn't just pick them off and go down. We tried to make a play out of it, which tells me we've been practicing that in practice quite a bit, the way they ran those balls back. Thought on offense, ran the ball obviously really well. Charlotte ran the ball well on Gardner-Webb too, so I think that could have a little something to do with their defense not being able to stop the run. But it was good to see. Passing game, intermediate passing game, looks good, but we don't seem to have any kind of a vertical deep threat. That's concerning to me. Maybe we're just not showing it yet. Maybe we're saving that aspect of the game for later on in the year. I don't know. But that does concern me that Holton doesn't seem to have the ability to go deep. And I thought Mooney at running back clearly will be getting a lot more playing time here on. I would expect him to be number 2 on the depth chart now ahead of Hussein Howell. Mooney looked fantastic. Really love the way he runs the ball.
All right,
Bubba, you want to go?
Bubba?
Yep.
We'll go around the table. So Bubba, Terry, and then it's kind of like we're passing the plate along. We'll pass the plate and talk. So we'll go Bubba, then Terry, then Brennan.
Yeah, I was very excited, obviously, just see us come out and do what we should have done. And like Kyle said, and big talent discrepancy, and that was far and away the least talented team will play all year. Not that they don't have some talent, but you guys get what I'm saying. Obviously, relative to the American Athletic Conference teams, obviously NC State, etc. So we came out and did what we were supposed to do, and you saw us take a 17-0 lead there early on. Then in the second quarter, things did get a little sloppy at times, and you had Gardner-Webb put a drive together, but then we responded, and like Kyle said, the biggest thing I'm concerned about is I want to see us be able to throw the ball down the field some, because against other opponents, some of the long yardage situations we got in last night with false start penalties, or just them being able, when we don't have that vertical threat, them being able to come and press our receivers and ground game is very much still a work in progress, even though we had 365 yards last night. Interested to see how that goes against Navy, which will be a much better matchup defensively.
You got it? Is that it? Okay. I tell you what, I had to watch it on ESPN3, and let me just say they didn't send the A-team with the coverage. The coverage wasn't very good at all, and the announcers were really. I don't know if they've lost money, so I don't know if ESPN is what they've done exactly. But I've never seen these announcers, and it was hard to keep up with things a lot of times because they talk about stuff other than the game. But anyway, what I did see out of it was, we didn't have any injuries, I don't believe. Or did we? Does anybody know?
Nothing serious that I know.
Yeah,
of.
we had a very scary moment there late when Reed Herring ran for a touchdown and there of about 10 yards, and C.J. Johnson, star freshman receiver from D.H. Conley, got rolled up from behind, and everybody held their breath. But fortunately, he was able to get off largely on his own power.
So, it's always good to go through a game like that and not get anybody injured, especially anybody, that's going to help us down the road. But, three things. First off is, it's a game we should win. There was no question about that. Everybody knows the situation and, who Gardner-Webb is and so forth. But, that was a situation that came about due to previous regimes, and it's behind us. So that's what we need to do with this game, put it behind us. But because that game, I believe, took South Carolina's place on the schedule.
Yep. Yeah, a couple years ago, yep.
So, yeah, and it's hard to get excited about playing Gardner-Webb. But at this stage of our situation, it didn't matter. We needed the win, and we got the win. And secondly, we took care of business as far as winning a game and how it should be won. Now, the first half, we had the ball 6 times, and we scored on 5 of those 6 possessions. We 4 touchdowns and a punt. 8-play drive to start the game, touchdown. 8-play drive to follow up, field goal. 10-play drive, touchdown. 10-play drive, touchdown. Then we had a 7-play drive with a punt. Now, people don't always realize that's winning football. Because what you're doing there, 7 plays mean you've made at least 2 first downs. So that's 20 yards. And if you have a punter that averages 40, that's 60. So what you've done is taken wherever you had the ball and moved it 60 yards. And that's turning the field. That's keeping the other team back in their territory. And that's what offense should do. So anytime you get 2 first downs in a punt, that's successful. And then, of course, last time we had the ball first half, two plays, touchdown. So, that right there I was impressed with, and I felt real good about. The third thing is I'm seeing improvement, and I saw quite a bit of improvement from the first to the second game. Now, you don't have the same level of improvement to the third one, but I do expect to see, again, I expect to see improvement next week. And at this point, that's how I'm going to judge things. I'm going to look at how we're doing the little things, how we're handling adversity, and what we're doing. We hadn't won many games, so I'm going to tell you, the second half, our kids were a little bit out of sync because, they're not used to playing from being ahead. So, there's a lot of things that has to be gotten out of the system of the players that have been here. And I think we're doing it, and I'm real pleased with that. So, anyway, we got more to go. I'll talk about later. All right, Brandon?
Well, I think that it was a fun game to watch. We are obviously the dominant team. I'm very impressed with the way we ran the ball, and especially with Darius Penix. I think that he did a great job. I don't know, and maybe you guys can help me out with this. Do you think it was more on the running backs themselves or on the offensive line just being able to kind of match up better with Gardner-Webb than NC State, that really helped our running game?
Some of both. We got better push. Obviously, Gardner-Webb's defensive line is nowhere near as good as NC State. NC State really has one of the best defensive lines in the ACC. So, yeah, we got much better push. But with that said, Brennan, there was times where Darius Penix broke tackles. He didn't go down after the first hit. The same with Mooney. So both. It was the backs and the line. But the line was a big part of that. That Gardner-Webb D line. And I'm anxious to see us against Navy because that's going to be somewhere in between. They're not going to be as good as NC State, and they're certainly not going to be as bad as Gardner-Webb on the D line. So I'm going to be anxious to see how we can run it against Navy.
And guys, when you add, I wanted to add a point too. Don't you think NC State, as far as our defensive line, is probably the best defensive line we'll see all year, in my opinion?
Yeah, probably. Temple, Cincinnati, UCF will all have good D lines. But yeah, if it ain't the best we'll see all year, it's damn near it.
Yeah. I think Navy will be a good measuring stick to see how well we can kind of expect to run the ball this season. And on the other side of the ball, though, I was very impressed with Alex Turner. I heard his name several times throughout the game. And, honestly, I think that he could have been the player of the game as well as Darius Penix. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, Alex Turner had a heck of a ball game.
I mean, God, he made a ton of tackles.
I think that he's a guy that he knows when. Remember Kyle, and we had media day. Alex Turner is a guy that is. Terry can attest to this because I know Bubba you can too because y'all both played. But his back is against the wall. He's a senior. He does not want to go out a loser, and meaning all 4 years. So, these guys are very hungry, especially there's guys like him that they want to win so bad, and it's a team sport. So he's definitely leading the way by example, and I think that he's been, during the Mo era, he's been, I would say, one of the bright spots as a kid that he can give you as much as he can every single game, and he's really stood out to me over the last few years, right, guys?
Yeah, no, Alex is a good player. He always plays hard, and it's no surprise that under this new system he's faring well. Guys, did Colby Gore play any last night? I didn't even notice.
I did not notice either.
I didn't notice him. Yeah, I normally see him, but I didn't see him back there. But that doesn't mean that he didn't get limited play. But I know he's back on the team, right?
I guess. Do you guys, Brennan, do you know if Colby got any playing time last night?
I'm not sure. I don't remember hearing his name.
I'll say, to be honest with you, in the pre-Gardner-Webb press conference on Tuesday, it may have been addressed, but I really don't recall it being addressed.
They asked, Wednesday night's practice, they asked, our defensive coordinator,
Bob
Trott, if we were going to have any more help in the secondary this week. And he said, yes, we'll have more help back there. So I was assuming that was referring to Colby Gore.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to check on that. I guess we can look at the stats sheet, and if it's like tackles and stuff, we'll find out if Colby played or not.
Yeah,
for
if
sure.
He had a tackle. They didn't throw the ball that much. Despite being down as much as they were, they still just kept trying to run the ball. Going nowhere.
Yeah. I had a sidebar thing I wanted to discuss because...
How was the salad bar?
Nice. Good. Well, it does have to do with food, so indirectly.
All right. I got several things that need addressing. We're going to address stuff like that. Go ahead. Right. I'll let you start.
I wanted to talk, Kyle, you and Bubba, I know Kyle brought it up via social media. Can you guys, and Brendan as well, can you guys discuss about the gentleman that was like, I guess, a chef or server or something, and he had the North Carolina? Have we heard any more about that? He had the North Carolina uniform.
What we understand is he was a UNC fan, evidently, and decided to wear his UNC chef's coat to serve up in the club level, and that's all I know.
The first game for the Townbank Tower, we got a clown that's wearing UNC.
Go ahead, Brennan.
What I heard was they were short-staffed, and they needed some more chefs come in and help with all the catering. So they brought in chefs from UNC, and I guess they didn't provide them with new jackets or whatever.
Chefs
and
from
came right over and with their UNC logos on, and worked our game.
Wait a minute. So, like, you're saying they're employed by the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill?
That's what I heard. I don't know. All this is Facebook. ECU football page talk. So
I don't. That doesn't sound right to me. I would think we're paying caterers. I would.
Yeah.
I mean, since when did UNC just got chefs walking around? I mean,
it's Aramark, right? The company that.
Yeah, Aramark.
Aramark.
I think Aramark provides food for all of them.
Yes.
For all the different schools. So I don't know if they were just short-staffed here and decided to bring in chefs from UNC to help out.
Then,
and I don't know. Either
if
way,
that's the case, then somebody needs to have enough sense to put it, like they did with Coach Houston and the Nike swish on the Nike shirts he kept wearing during fall practice when he was supposed to be wearing Adidas, and they put the ECU sticker over type the Nike swish. Well, do the same thing. Just take the ECU sticker and say you're going to have to put that over that UNC logo.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I think it's ridiculous.
Terry had an idea. Terry, tell him your idea.
Well, the casual thing to do would be to just make sure you got a ketchup package or the bottle of ketchup or something, and just walk over and accidentally bump into him and spill your ketchup on that Tar Heel wrestler.
That would look a lot better, right?
Yeah, I think that, put a little blood on it. Yeah.
I like it.
They have shed some in our stadium, so
Yeah,
and either that or have him politely tell him that he needs to cover that thing up. Or
and how about he doesn't work there? I mean, that's what I would tell him.
He's there.
Well, the thing is, I'd say the same thing if it was the other way around. If it was somebody that was a pirate and he happened to be working at Keenan Stadium at the quote upper club or wherever, then that would be stupid. To where I would disagree with it in that situation too. What I posted, I said, are you going to go to McDonald's wearing your Hardy shirt?
Right.
Exactly.
It's disrespectful to the university. And think about this, guys. This is what hit me when I saw we posted, it's actually in a group text, is the fact that those people are really, really, really big-time donors. I mean, we're not talking like me, we're not talking like just a blue-collar guy. We're talking about guys that are men and women that are given $1 million. And so you're not only, it doesn't really matter the money as much, but still, those are big-time donors. And so that's a real insult to people who've given millions of dollars and and they're very passionate about their Pirates. And you got a guy serving with the UNC. I think that was on purpose. It was not, I don't see that as being an accident. You put a uniform on, you know what's on the uniform. So.
Right.
Too, we got to, what battles do you want to fight? It's either one or the other.
Guys, Colby Gore did not participate in last night's game. I looked it up in the participation report. So, like I thought, he did not not play.
Well, good to know.
Thanks for getting us out of that, Bubba. That discussion. Thanks for getting us out of the Tar Heel discussion.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
A couple of things. First of all, guys, I wanted to know, we came in early. I always tend to get there right around the time the gates open. I like getting in the stadium early, getting to the concession stands where they get busy. go to the bathroom before it gets busy, and get to my seat, have a chance to relax, and wait for the game to start. And the game's supposed to open at 4 o'clock. They opened around 4:20 something, which that's not a big deal. But, we were the first people in line, really, about 3 or 4 people in front of us. And the new clear bag policy, I don't know what you guys experienced, but the clear bag policy, from what I understand, was supposed to speed things up and they wouldn't search them as much. And maybe that got carried out as people came into the stadium more. But I can tell you, for my wife and myself, we both had a clear bag each. Our bags were searched with sticks as if they were purses that you couldn't see in. And then I had the young lady that was working the gate see my binoculars that were out of the case. I didn't have the cases. They were just binoculars sitting in a clear bag. And I asked the other young lady working the gate if we were supposed to be allowed to bring binoculars into the stadium. And I said, yes, of course you can bring binoculars into the stadium. And she still questioned it, and I just grabbed my bag and walked away, because what are they going to do? But, I don't understand. The clear bag policy I have no problem with, but if you're going to search the clear bags just as much as you search the purses, then what's the point? And secondly, these people need to be trained better before they're put up there at the gate. Why in the world they would think you couldn't bring binoculars into a football stadium is beyond all rationale. So I just don't understand that. How did you guys run into, I don't know if anybody else carried a bag in, and if you did, Brennan, Dave, Bubba, if you did, how did the search process go?
No, nobody checked my bag.
Well, you weren't there. You're a slacker.
And they've already banned you years ago in the 70s.
Did you guys run into any of that? Did anybody else carry any bags in?
I did not carry a bag in, but there were some folks around me when I was going through the gates. One had a purse that was larger than the clutch purse that is allowed, so she had to do something with her bag, take it back to the car, what have you. But
it
then
wasn't clear. Okay.
Right, and then so there were a few folks with clear bags, and so they showed them what they needed to get, and then the event staff took a quick look, and then they did not go searching through their clear bag with a stick like what you witnessed.
Evidently, someone spoke up and said, "Hey, what are y'all doing?" So that's good. That's good. That's correcting it on the job. That's on the job training. A couple other things I want to bring up. There's some minor things that I'll kind of just leave out. I'm gonna kind of address this with John Gilbert and Ryan Robinson personally. But there's one thing that I just want to bring up this just is one of these things that's a good idea, but it wasn't well thought out. Okay, I sit on the ramp on the north side because for anybody listening to this podcast that know I'm visually impaired. So I sit on the ramp on the north side. Well, they're allowing people on the field now, which is great. That's tremendous after the games. But they have them come in through the gate that if you're sitting on the ramp, on the handicap ramp on the north side, you go out that same gate that they're having people come in. Well, the ramp was pretty much empty by the end of the game because it was a blowout, except for my wife and myself and maybe one other person. No big deal. But let's say William and Mary next home game is going to actually be family weekend. You're going to have a lot of parents and grandparents. Normally the ramps are pretty full for those games. So at the end of that game, this is what's going to happen. Let's say William and Mary East Carolina's a close ball game, and everybody stays to the end. And there's 500 to 1,000 people lined up at that gate waiting to come onto the field like there was last night. And you got people trying to get through that mob of people blocking the gate in wheelchairs or on crutches. That's not going to go well. So they need to do that more organized. I don't guess there's really any other way to get the people on the field. You need to kind of rope it off so it's single file at that point for coming onto the field. So if somebody is in a wheelchair or on a crutch, or crutches, I should say, they can get through. It's hard. I mean, it would really be impossible to get through that amount of people in that little closed-in small area by that gate if you're in a wheelchair or you're on crutches. So that's something they need to think about and rope it off where it's single file to the left or to the right so the rest of the space is open.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I knew about the going on the field, but I didn't know about that being an issue. So,
well, it wasn't an issue last night because there wasn't hardly anybody left coming off the ramp, but it will be an issue. It will be. Yes, me and Jessica didn't have any problem getting through them, because of the nature of my disability, it wasn't a problem. But most people that sit on that ramp have mobility issues, and it will be an issue.
Yeah.
Something else, the Pirate Walk. Dave, did you have something else to add as far as what Kyle was saying before
No.
I mentioned the Pirate Walk? All right. As far as the Pirate Walk, it's certainly not what it hopefully eventually will be at games where we have bigger crowds. Last night, 34,118. But even though it's not what it eventually will be, it certainly was much better than it's been in the past. I think it was an excellent idea to move it to that side of the stadium, and I think it's a no-brainer to have it where you're walking down the heart of the new white lot, or premium lot as they call it, behind Town Bank Tower. So I think that went very well, and not a bad turnout, but again, not what it eventually will be for some of those more well-attended games later in the season like USF. But I really like that, and one of the things that really jumped out was the way the team was dressed, and they had everybody was wearing the exact same thing. They had khaki pants, navy blazers, and then shirt and tie. They all had the tie with our new pattern that Adidas came up with the swords and so forth. It's on the trim on the uniform. So that looked sharp, and then they didn't have headphones on. You could tell they were engaged. They were briefly speaking to fans as they went by, high fives, fist bumps, etc. So much better, and you could tell there's definitely a culture change, mindset change there with Coach Houston and staff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, I looked, and after you told me about that, Bubba, I saw that on online. I think ECU Athletics had it, and I believe it was Twitter. But certainly for me, when I heard, when you told me about that, Bubba, when I got to the stadium right after it happened, I was just so thrilled. It's another great example of the fact that it's no secret that Mike Houston gets it as a coach. These guys are, when you say uniform, they are uniformed in the fact that they're a team. It's no individuals with the headphones, and I'm trying to be cooler than you, so I'm going to have these, $500 headphones or whatever. The fact of the matter is, we're here to play a football game. And Terry, I know that's something that Coach Dye would have never allowed anything like that, right? Headphones or anything that would be where you're an individual.
Well, we didn't all wear the same things and all, because back then they couldn't afford it, and but that was a time when the stacked shoes were in fashion. I don't know if y'all don't know all this stuff. This goes way back. It was stacked shoes and double knit polyester leisure suits.
Well, poly's back in now. Everybody just calls it dry fit.
Right.
Well, we were very impressive, though. No, but we were neat, and we were disciplined, and there wasn't a bunch of unnecessary talking and noise and stuff like that going on. Most of us, once we get over to the stadium, then you're pretty much on your own to do what you do, get ready to play, and everybody's kind of different with that. Some people like to get off by themselves. Some guys like to sit around with other guys and talk and all. But it's not like you're going to a party.
Right.
It's more like you're going to take care of some business. And
that's right.
By the time we entered the stadium, it didn't matter what was playing or who was looking or whatever. It was time to take care of business.
One thing that was interesting to me, did you guys? I was really impressed. I'm really happy. I haven't heard about the beer sales as far as the lines. Any problems with there? Any underage drinking? I don't know about that. As far as, like, in other words, people able to buy beer and be underage. But also, I didn't see any fights or anything, any extracurricular activities because of the alcohol. So I was really impressed that there are a lot of people that didn't want the alcohol because they were afraid that very thing, that there would be more fights and people would be belligerent and drunk. I'm like, well, they can do that now before the game. They could just drink a lot.
No, I didn't see anything. Everybody seemed to. The people I saw drinking, it didn't seem to. No, I didn't see anybody get blistered and throwing up any more so than I've seen it in the past with people coming in out the parking lot already, to the point of over intoxication. Well, Brady, you were in the student section. How did things go up there with drinking?
Yeah, I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. I mean, I didn't see any fights or any altercations or anyone acting a little too wild. In fact, I wish they kind of acted more wild.
I agree.
I wish the alcohol would make us act a little more wild sometimes.
Well, we get the opponents and wow.
But no, guys, after we were on the No Quarter postgame show last night on 94.3, I did hear an interview. They had Chris Sutton on, of course, with ECU Police, and he said that things went very well, just like you guys are saying, and no incidents. That was awesome to see, and that's something you've heard at other stadiums who've like West Virginia. That's probably not the best example, but I don't say that. But even though they continued to have incidents, they weren't as plentiful as they had been. They weren't as numerous, I should say, as they had been in the past. So it's something that, like Kyle was saying, that you're less likely to probably binge drink out in the parking lot.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because you can drink once you get in there. You don't feel the need to drink as much in the parking lot, and which probably cuts down on the consumption of hard liquor, because people are probably, when they're out in that parking lot drinking more than beer and wine, they're drinking Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, and everything else. So that's probably going to cut down on some of that consumption, and that's what you really get messed up on. That's what causes fight. It ain't a few beers or a few cups of wine. It's when you're drinking hard liquor, from my experience.
Yeah. Yeah, beer and wine seem to be more mellow drinks, really. But when you start down in the Jack and the Jim Beam and, some vodka, that's when you got some problems. Everybody wants to fight then.
Yeah.
Jägermeister.
Jaeger. I can't stand Jaeger. Yeah. You like Jaeger, Terry?
I don't know what it tastes like, so I can't.
Do you like black licorice?
No, I don't like it. No,
I
don't
like Jaeger then.
It's like a ouzo.
Tastes like black licorice. It's disgusting.
The Greek liquor ouzo's that way. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
And especially in the heat.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I know we've referenced some of the games that took place around the nation yesterday, in addition to the Pirates game. So, do we want to talk about some of those matchups, some of the things that you guys recognized or that stood out?
I don't know if any of y'all caught any of the Tulane-Auburn game, but Tulane's impressive. Tulane was right there with them throughout the game, and in fact, they took it to Auburn. I'll just say that, and played well. They're gonna be good before the end of the year. I hated to see Cincinnati laying the egg like they did.
That one really surprised me, Terry. I certainly thought Ohio State would win, but I thought Cincinnati would be competitive.
Well, right. Cincinnati just didn't play well at all. I don't know what happened, but Ohio State's quarterback was the kid from here in Georgia who signed with Georgia, even though Georgia's got the kid Jake Fromm, and then after a year at Georgia, he transferred to Ohio State. So Justin Fields, he's a pretty good quarterback. So, but yeah, I was trying to see what the other teams in our conference did.
UConn actually played well yesterday. They jumped out on a 10-0 lead against Illinois before Illinois ended up pulling away and beating them 31-23.
Mm-hmm.
So a surprisingly good effort from Connecticut. Of course, I don't think Illinois is very good either. Anyway, but UConn, they're still in our conference right now. Played well.
USF, went down to Georgia Tech 14-10. The Bulls continue to have very little offense and that's something that has seemed to, besides when he was at Louisville with Teddy Bridgewater, and that seems to kind of follow Charlie Strong teams. But
yeah, and Georgia Tech's not very good, so it's not like they lost before to a good team. Anything? Oh, SMU with a nice win. North Texas is one of the favorites in Conference USA, and SMU kind of spanked them. So nice win for the Mustangs. They're 2-0, and nobody's really noticed. And they've had 2 good wins. They've beaten North Texas and Arkansas State.
Another strong performance for Shane Buechele from out of SMU, the grad transfer from Texas.
Yeah. Houston won. I don't think Cincinnati didn't play. I think it was UCF just bitch slapped Florida Atlantic.
48-14, I believe it was.
Yeah. But it wasn't even that close. I mean, not that that's, it was a dominant performance, really. And it was Florida. I tell you, Lane Kiffin's about as overrated as they come. So what?
He's got a pretty wife.
Hey, indeed. Kind of like another overrated coach, PJ Fleck in Minnesota. Very attractive wife.
Hey, another game we hadn't mentioned. This is obviously outside of American, just a national game that really turned some heads. It didn't shock me. I thought they would make it competitive with their style of play. Army. Lost in double overtime up at Michigan, 24-21. Had an opportunity to win that one.
Should have won it. Yeah,
that was a heartbreaker.
Just like last year, they nearly knocked off Oklahoma out in Norman, lost 28-21 in overtime.
Should have won that game. They had a chance to kick a field goal with about 5 minutes to go in the fourth and went for it on fourth down. It would have been a chip shot.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Which would have won the game for them. They ended up missing a field goal, like a 50-yarder at expiration, but Army should have won that game. A few other interesting. Tennessee falls again. BYU, they're 0-2. Jeremy Pruitt's days may be numbered. Florida State beats Louisiana Monroe by 1 point in overtime. There were some interesting scores yesterday for sure.
Yeah, that Florida State ULM game, and that was very much like Florida State's first game against Boise State, where they seemed to have a very good start. They had a 17-point halftime lead, and then just like against Boise State, I think Boise State scored 31 or something in the second half. ULM scored 31 in the second half, and that game went into OT, and ULM missed a PAT that allowed the Seminoles to survive. And guys, as you know, Doak Campbell Stadium seats are right around 80,000, and they only had a little less than 53,000 there, so more than 27,000 empty seats, and so a ton of lost revenue for Florida State.
Yeah, absolutely, and Willie Taggart, just like Jeremy Pruitt, if something doesn't change, he may be 2 in barbecue at Florida State.
Another game, I didn't get to see any of it because I was traveling home from Greenville in the Pirate game. But Terry, I'm sure you probably watched some of this one. Kyle, you as well, and maybe you, Brennan. But Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers got a big win on the road at Texas.
Watched some of it. I was more watching Miami, North Carolina, hoping the Hurricanes could find a way to win.
Yeah, me too.
But I did watch some of it. LSU, man, they got an offense. That's something they hadn't had in the past. They're going to be interesting to see. The West over there in the SEC, of course, Alabama's the Kings, but Auburn's good and LSU's good. I'm going to be anxious to see when Bama plays LSU this year. That could be fun.
Yeah. LSU looks like a pretty strong team. I would like to have seen, actually, though, I'm kind of a Tom Herman fan. I think he does a good job, but he's going to turn Texas around. I can assure you that.
Yeah, I think he already has, Terry. To be honest with you,
absolutely.
Just how good they wind up being. But the SEC East is going to be dominated by Georgia. So it'll come down as usual with the SEC. It's going to come down to the Georgia-Florida game.
Yes,
who wins it.
Wait a minute, Terry. Don't sleep on Kentucky.
it depends. If Georgia plays them at home, then they'll win easily.
Yeah.
But
Kentucky, Florida this weekend. That's a big game.
That'll be interesting.
Yep.
And Kentucky beat them last year down in the swamp.
Right.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, I don't believe that's going to happen this year. I think Florida's much improved. They're much. You can't help but recruit there. I don't understand why they've had such problems with quarterback, but that's just the way it goes. But I think Memphis is going to be one of our stronger teams in the conference.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, Terry, that's just not the case. According to 24/7 Sports tonight, East Carolina's headed to the Birmingham Bowl and going to play Pitt, while Memphis is going to be in the Cure Bowl taking on Georgia Southern. So I hope those projections are true, but I'm really starting to think somebody got that backwards.
Look, people, the thing about it, we're not allowed to go to bowls that are very big in the first place, or the higher paying bowls. The way
right.
So,
I'll take any bowl we can get right now, but I just thought that was funny. Not so much as I was surprised to see us in bowl projections, and then I saw us in the Birmingham Bowl, which is one of our better bowls, and Memphis in the Cure Bowl, which is one of our lower tier bowls. And I was like, well, that's probably backwards. And we need some explanation from Steve and Igo on that.
Oh yeah, I didn't catch it there. So that's well, of course, Memphis could be 10-2 and get put in that bowl.
I wouldn't think so. They could, but, I could, but that wouldn't make a lot of sense.
We don't have access, and that's why we'll always be lower than the Power 5, I think.
Yeah.
The preseason rankings start out with the Power 5 schools ahead of everybody, so that's the strength of schedule is already determined.
What one so-called group of 5 will get one of the big bowls, and it'll probably be UCF or Boise this year, maybe Memphis.
Whoever wins our conference.
Well, Boise will have a shot at it too, out of the Mountain West.
Right.
But besides that, it'll be whoever wins the American or either Boise State.
Yeah, and that's just facts of life for now.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Tulsa is one. None of our, our conference overall is not done too bad to start with, but
Tulsa got a win last night over, I believe it was UNLV.
San Jose State.
San Jose State. Okay. Well, some Mountain West team is terrible.
Yeah. Way out west.
Yeah.
So still a nice win for Tulsa. The one of our worst teams beat one of the Mountain West worst teams and beat them.
There you go.
So,
we can't call Tulsa. We're right down there with the worst teams. So we can't.
Well, yeah, I said one of.
We're coming, but we ain't there. So
they still got their coach Montgomery. Hey, by the way, y'all ready to bring back Coach Montgomery? His offense is the number 1 in the nation, and there at Maryland, they're just rolling over people.
Averaging 71 points a game.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, well, that just proves that you can't run mules at the Kentucky Derby.
Well, what it proves is DJ Durkin recruited well and developed his talent well, and their head coach coached under Saban the last couple of years and knows how to run practice. And all Montgomery's got to do is call plays. And I have no doubt he's a decent play caller. So when everything else is done for him and all he has to do is sit up there and call plays, he's the real deal.
Right. And plus, it's a lot easier to call plays when you're 20 points, 30 points ahead. It's when the game's tight that the play calling gets tough. So
right.
It'll come. That play always happens. So we'll see.
Yeah, they can have him. I don't want him. He's good. He's good at what he does, and he needs to stick with it. He won't the right fit here.
And Maryland took care of our money situation with him. So that's also where I've been spending money for my son to graduate. and he's in grad school there.
Well, there you go. He can go hang out with Scotty Moe.
My money, yeah, going up there.
Another game, guys. A game out west that turned some heads late last night is Cal knocking off Washington.
Yeah, there was a lightning delay in that game. I fell asleep.
Yeah,
I couldn't stay up and watch it. But yeah, Cal beat Washington, and it was a bit of a surprise. Big surprise. Cal and Oregon were considered the favorites to win the Pac-12, and I would say Oregon still is, but big win for Cal.
Yeah, this weekend, Friday, Washington State plays Houston in Houston.
Yeah, that'll be a fun game.
And then Maryland plays Temple in Philadelphia.
Thanks for the heads up on that one.
Stanford's at UCF this coming weekend.
A lot of big games for the American.
And so that's
UCF is actually a 6-point favorite against Stanford.
That'll be interesting because Stanford they're going to play sound football and they're going to make you beat them. It'll be interesting to see how they play with. I think they're going to find out, and what people don't realize is how many great athletes Central Florida has.
Yeah, they're good.
I saw them play the first game. I watched it, and I'm telling you, they look better to me this year than they have in the last 2 years.
Yeah, they're good. I'll take them to beat Stanford. They're good. I'll tell you another game that's important next weekend, and that's East Carolina at Navy. We actually opened as a 9-point underdog, and it's already down to 6. So a lot of people are putting the early money on the Pirates. 6-point underdog on the road at Navy kind of surprises me. That's a game that if we could find a way to win it, I would be beside myself with joy. I don't know about you guys. If we get to find a way to beat Navy on the road, oh my God, I would feel like we won the national championship. As silly as that might sound.
Absolutely. I mean, you think about it. Down through the years. 76, 56, 66. Those are the types of numbers that we're used to giving up against Navy, and then even the time we found a way to beat them. I guess it was in 2011 when Dominique Davis set the consecutive completions record.
Right.
We beat them. What was it like? It was like 35-31 or something. It was a fairly high-scoring game.
They missed the field goal at the end for us to win.
Okay.
It was.
It
was close.
One thing I was going to mention at some point was, I was looking at, Halton Ahlers, and again, I've heard some talk here and there about this and that, but I think last year finished up 48% passing, maybe, I think it was. And there's a big difference in him already, I'm seeing. And that is that, we're already at, I think he was 62% last night against Gardner-Webb, and he was, it wasn't that good. I think it was 50-something% against NC State, but the way so far what we've done with the passing game, I think, and it makes sense to me, is that we're running. For one thing, we're basing the pass off of the run. Now, even if the run's not successful, it does still help that you're attempting to run to set up the run pass, and I think we've done a good job of that, and we're giving him. We're not making him throw 40 yards to complete passes right off the bat. We're letting him throw and get into a rhythm. He was 6 for 6, I think, against State on that opening drive, and I think he might have been similar to that in this game. I was looking through some stats here, but I see a big difference in his completion rate already. And I think that's going to continue and grow. I think he's going to get confidence from it, and I think he will be able to. It's going to take a little time, because if you've got, I ain't going to say bad habits, but I'll say habits that need to be changed at any position, especially at quarterback and throwing the ball. But if there's anything needs to be changed, then, that's something he's been doing a long time probably. So it'll take a little time to alter it. But he's got a strong arm, and he's got the the football IQ for it. So I think it's just a matter of time before the deep balls come. But I think he's not having to run the ball every time either. And when he does run it now, he's still a pretty good runner. But he did also slide last night a couple times.
Yeah.
Get hit. So I think he's in a progression himself that, and we're throwing the different receivers. I think we hit 7 different people in the first half. Had 7 different people catch passes. And people say, well, we don't have a go-to guy. That's great. See, when you're throwing the ball to one person all the time, guess what? Defenses start covering that person.
See Trayvon Brown.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is spread it around and backs out of the backfield. And there again, that's where the running game comes in. And I saw, too, with our line, we're doing things up front that we hadn't been doing either. I'm pretty sure we have a different blocking scheme than what we've had. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we went through several coaches in 3 years as far as position coaches.
Right.
So, when you have players in positions that have had 3 different coaches in 4 years, that's not good either, because you don't have any habits in probably because you keep changing. So but I'm seeing things that we're doing that's good, and it may not be successful now, but it's the things that you're going to see as the season progresses that we keep as we keep doing them, we're going to get better. And I'm just excited. I'm excited we're 1-1. I'd love to be 2-0, but I don't feel like we're not going in there trying not to lose. We're actually going into games trying to win them now, and that's a 90-degree turn right there. So. Yeah.
Something else last night, I know the primary emphasis was to work on the ground attack and make some much-needed strides there. But as far as the passing game's concerned, I think we completed 19 passes, and you had Blake Prohl that caught 7 balls, and then he was the only wide receiver that caught more than 2 balls. So you had DeAndre Ferrier with 2, and then I want to say someone else with 2, but maybe it was Tyler Snead or somebody, but you had some other receiver, I think, with 2 catches, and Leroy Henley did not get in on the action last night. So right. My point being, in the passing game, like you said, you want to spread it around, but in the future, hopefully, when we're going to have to be more balanced and put the ball in the air more, that hopefully we'll see Leroy Henley, Audio Matosho, and some of the others step up and see us spreading the ball around to more than just Blake.
He had a tendency last night, Holton did, that when he's throwing to the sideline, it looks like he's short-stepping a little bit and causing him to throw the ball high. Because if you remember, he threw the ball too high several times. And that's something that he just, that's something that they'll work on as he watches the video of himself. He'll be able to see that, he's not, it's a technique thing whenever you're throwing the ball high like that. So, he's coachable, and he's willing to learn. I think these players I think they were so ready to be coached the right way that they are just absolutely loving it. So, just listening to them, and it's so nice. It's refreshing. That we look like a team, So baby steps.
The baby steps is right, and it would be a nice, big, huge step forward if we could find a way to beat the Naval Academy this weekend. I don't expect us to go on the road to beat Navy. If it was in Greenville, I'd like our chances better. But if we could somehow find a way to go on the road and beat Navy, man, that you'd have a lot of excitement suddenly surrounding the program for that William & Mary game.
I believe that would help bring some more people in. And, also, and we haven't mentioned it, but, hope people that I know there's still people recovering, that there's still people hurting from the hurricanes, the hurricane that came up through there. And, we do think about them and hope they, hope for the best. That's all you can say.
Yeah, a lot of people, particularly folks out towards the coast, people are friends in Ocracoke, and anywhere in eastern North Carolina, that anybody that suffered hurricane damage, your thoughts and prayers are with you from the Sports Objective. Brennan, you got anything to add? About anything?
Yeah, like you just said, our thoughts and prayers are with people who are affected by this hurricane, and I definitely. I've never experienced, my home being flooded, but I can imagine it's a terrible thing. And I'm looking forward to the game versus Navy. I'm looking forward to seeing how we do against a team that I think we can be competitive with. I think it's going to be tough. I've heard that we hadn't really played well against them in the past, and they're kind of, the way that they play.
Yes, correct.
You're correct.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how Mike Houston's schemes kind of work out against them.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's interesting, Brennan. Mike did run the triple option at the Citadel and at Lenore Ryan, and he studied a lot of what Navy does for that triple option. He ran at Lenore Ryan at the Citadel, so.
Yes, I like our chances compared to the last few years for sure.
Yeah.
Now, will we win? It's going to be an uphill battle, but I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's going to be a great challenge, and I think that we were talking about Lenore Ryan when he was there in the Citadel. He was talking about that last night at the press conference. I think those coaches, and he talked about in fall ball, by the way, guys, he talked about the very fact that he practiced every practice. They were addressing Navy. So it's not like all of a sudden they've got to do Brendan, you know about this more closer than you're still in college. It's not like it's going to be where you're cramming for a final. This is something they've been working on all along. It's very routine. Could we go up there and actually do very well? Sure. We could also go up there and go miserably. But I think the defense has been the biggest surprise for me. I thought they've done way better than what I expected after game 2. I know that was Gardner-Webb, but last week, like Kyle said, they did way better than I expected them to do against NC State. I have NC State and Navy as losses going into the 3-2 in the first month or first 5 games. So it'll be interesting. If we could somehow go up to Navy and get a win, that would be amazing.
Yeah, no doubt.
They've had, they were off this past week, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare for us.
That's true. But you make your biggest improvement from game 1 to game 2, and this is their game 2. But you know what? In a way, I'm kind of glad we played 2 games and they've only played 1. They might have some more bugs they need to work out.
You're right. That could be a good coming so early in the season. It could be. I think I'd rather play. I'd rather be playing than having my off week. I'd prefer to have it toward the end of the season or the middle of the season. No, not at the beginning. But,
yeah, week 2 off week is kind of useless.
But Navy beat Holy Cross first and had 428 yards rushing and 103 passing. But there, it reminds me so much of back in the day. They were 6 for 9 passing. Yeah. 9 points. So,
wow.
Anyway, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be there. It's a spectacle. I haven't been, but my friend Rick Bennett, who played offensive tackle with us back with Pat Dye, he was a Sonny Randall recruit. But Rick, he's from Maryland, and we have a lot of support up in the D.C. area that people. It's kind of waned, but So we got a lot of fans up there, and he's going to be there with several of his old buddies and some guys that he knows from that played at Navy. And they even have a big, like a tailgate for all the former players that's just supposed to be out of this world. And then, of course, the game, you go in and the things they do pregame with the cadets and all. It's just it's a show, and it's it's playing guys that you think about it, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, they're the ones out there protecting us. So you gotta love these guys. But as a player, it was tough to play the military schools because no matter how good they are, they will play every play, and they will play till the end of the game. So you've got to play hard because that's what they do. So it's always interesting, and it's always fun to play those schools, and Navy's good. So we just have to see what the Pirates taking on the U.S. Navy.
Yeah, it's a good rivalry. Pirates versus the Navy.
Yeah.
Dave, what do we got coming up this week on the Sports Objective?
Well, guys, speaking of Navy, very excited. We're going to have on our preview. I want to remind you that we have Pete Medhurst. He's actually the play-by-play voice. We had him on last year for the Army-Navy game. Pete is, wow, what a professional and tremendous golden pipes. I'm in the radio business and the voice business, and Pete's got him. And we're going to be talking to him about, obviously, Navy, and we'll have that on Thursday for sure. And then we also have for Tuesday podcast, we're interviewing all the ECU coaches, and for the women's soccer program, off to a good start, Jason Hamilton, who the second-year head coach, is doing a fantastic job rebuilding the program, and Jason's going to be talking to Bubba, and we'll have that on Tuesday's podcast. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up, many more guests that we have we're working on lining up, so very excited about that. And, of course, we'll have a Pirate Playback, and that'll be next Saturday night or Sunday, most likely Sunday for the Navy game. So lots of stuff headed this week. Appreciate everybody, and don't forget to like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter at The Sports OBJ, at The Sports Objective. For Instagram, we're everywhere, and I know, Kyle, we're everywhere as far as listening. I know that our very own Terry Gallaher listens on TuneIn, but there's other places, right?
Yeah, wherever you're listening now, obviously you can keep listening there, but tune in, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Audio Boom. So that's
Blog Talk,
SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts,
Himalaya, Castbox. There's a whole bunch of
anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us, and lots of times we'll archive stuff on YouTube. So just check us out, listen to us, share us, tell a friend about it, go like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, as Dave said, and you might even win a prize. We had a contest this week, and let's announce that real fast. We won our contest.
Okay.
Kevin Spencer of Washington, North Carolina. He won a Travis. How do you say that name? Turvis Tumbler. He won an East Carolina Turvis Tumbler, 16 ounce East Carolina Turvis Tumbler. It is on the way to him right now, and so congratulations to Kevin.
What was the score?
He got the score right. The score he predicted was 47-9, and we won 48-9. So congratulations to Kevin of Washington. Good old Eastern North Carolina, a good old Northeastern North Carolina boy, Dave. Yeah. He's originally from Columbia.
So Terrell County.
Yeah, lives in Washington now. So congrats to him, and I hope he enjoys his tumbler when he gets it.
All right, sounds good, guys. I want to thank Brennan Shapiro. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you very much. Love having you on the board as a future Pirate, as obviously you're a Pirate now, but I can't wait to after you graduate. You're going to see Mike Houston's going to be a tremendous coach, and you're going to be thrilled. I know you had to suffer the first couple of years, but I think it's not how you finish, how you start, it's how you finish. So,
I have faith in him. I believe in him.
And then we have Terry Gallaher, who I know he's not anti-Mike Houston. Thank you, sir, very much for coming on. It's always fun talking to you on the podcast.
I always appreciate y'all having me on. I enjoy I especially enjoy talking about Pirate football with situation we got now, and it's the negatives behind us. Put the past in the past, and let's go out there and kick some ass.
Yeah.
There you go. Put the past in the past. Let's kick some ass. Hey, I like that.
There you go.
Put that on the T-shirt.
Thank you so much, Bubba Rosenbaum, and Kyle. Man, appreciate you, buddy.
All right, man. Good. Another podcast in the books.
Wake up,
right.
Bubba. Wake up.
All right, guys. Well, until next time for our Tuesday podcast. Until the meantime, we'll see you next time. This is Dave Richmond for the Sports Objective Podcast.
You've been listening to the Sports Objective Podcast. Join us next time as the guys will be objective, and the objective is sports.